The orientation. As I turned the rental car onto Morrie Street in West Newton, a quiet suburb of Boston, I had a cup of coffee in one hand and a cellular phone between my ear and shoulder. I was talking to a TV producer about a piece we were doing. My eyes jumped from the digital clock my return flight was in a few hours to the mailbox numbers on the three-line Serpent Street. The car radio was on the all-news station. This was how I operated, 5 things at once. Roll back the tape, I said to the producer. Let me hear that part again. Okay, he said. It's gonna take a second. Suddenly, I was up in the house. I pushed the brakes, spilling coffee in my lap. As the car stopped, I caught a glimpse of a large Japanese mail tree. 3 figures sitting near it in the driveway. A young man and a middle-aged woman, flanking a small old man in a wheelchair. Morrie. At the sight of my old professor, I froze. Hello, the producer said in my ear. Did I lose you? I had not seen him in 16 years. His hair was thinner, nearly white, and his face was gaunt. I suddenly felt unprepared for this reunion. For one thing, I was stuck on the phone, and I hoped that he hadn't noticed my arrival, so that I could drive around the block a few more times, finish my business, get mentally ready. But Morrie, this new withered version of a man I had once known so well, was smiling at the car, hands folded in his lap, waiting for me to emerge. Hey, the producer said again, are you there? For all the time we'd spent together, for all the kindness and patience Morrie had shown me when I was young, I should have dropped the phone and jumped from the car, run and held him and kissed him hello. Instead, I killed the engine and swung down off the seat, as if I were looking for something. Yeah, I'm here, I whispered, and continued my conversation with the TV producer until we were finished. I did what I had become best at doing. I tended to my work, even while a dying professor waited on his front lawn. I'm not proud of this, but that is what I did. Now, 5 minutes later, Morrie was hugging me, his shining hair rubbing against my cheek. I had told him I was searching for my keys. That's what had taken me so long in the car. And I squeezed him tighter as if I could crush my little lie. Although the spring sunshine was warm, he wore a windbreaker and his legs were covered by a blanket. He smelled faintly sour the way people on medication sometimes do. With his face pressed close to mine, I could hear his labored breathing in my ear. My old friend, he whispered, you come back at last. He rocked against me, not letting go, his hands searching up for my elbows as I bent over him. I was surprised at such affection after all these years. But then, in the stone walls I had built between my present and my past, I had forgotten how close we once were. I remembered graduation day, the briefcase, his tears and my departure. And I swallowed my because I knew deep down that I was no longer the good gift bearing student he remembered. I only hoped that for the few hours I could fool him. Inside the house, we sat at a dining room table near a window that looked up on the neighbor's house. Morrie fussed with his wheelchair, trying to get comfortable, as was his custom. He wanted to feed me, and I said all right. One of the helpers, a stout Italian woman named Connie, cut up bread and tomatoes and brought containers of chicken salad, hummus, and tabbouleh. She also brought some pills. Morrie looked at them and sighed. His eyes were more sunken than I remember them, and his cheekbones more pronounced. This gave him a harsher, older look until he smiled. Of course, and the shaking cheeks gathered up like curtains. Mitch, he said softly, you know that I'm dying. I knew. All right then. Morrie swallowed the pills, put down the paper cup, inhaled deeply, then let it out. Shall I tell you what it's like? What it's like? To die? Yes, he said. Although I was unaware of it, our last class had just begun. It is my freshman year. Morrie is older than most of the teachers, and I'm younger than most of the students, having left high school a year early. To compensate for my youth on campus, I wear old gray sweatshirt and box in a local gym and walk around with a unlit cigarette in my mouth, even though I do not smoke. I drive a beat up Mercury Cougar with the windows down and the music up. I sing my identity in my toughness, but it is Morrie's softness that draws me. And because he does not look at me as a kid trying to be something more than I am, I relaxed. I finished that first course with him and enrolled for another. He's an easy maker. He does not much care for grades. One year, they say, during the Vietnam War, Morrie gave all his male students A's to help them keep their student deferment. I begin to call Morrie Coach, the way I used to address my high school track coach. Morrie likes the nickname. Coach, he says. All right, I'll be your coach and you can be my player. You can play all the lovely parts of life that I'm too old for now. Sometimes we eat together in the cafeteria. Morrie, to my delight, isn't even more slob than I am. He talks instead of chewing, laughs with his mouth open, delivers a passionate thought through a mouthful of egg salad. The little yellow piece spewing from his teeth. It cracks me up. The whole time I know him, I have two overwhelming desires: to hug him and to give him a napkin.